I refused to cover up in my own apartment after my roommate's girlfriends demanded I change how I dress. I live with two guys, Jake and Ryan, and it's honestly been great for the past year. We split everything evenly, nobody's messy, and we all get along really well. My boyfriend Chris is best friends with both of them, so it's never been weird or anything. The problem started when Jake and Ryan got serious girlfriends. Emma and Sarah are nice enough, but they basically moved in without actually moving in. They're here like 5 days a week, eating our food, using our Netflix, the whole deal. I didn't really care at first because they mostly stayed in the guys' rooms. But then one Tuesday afternoon, I came home from class and found both of them waiting for me in the living room. No Jake or Ryan anywhere. Emma jumps right in and goes, "We need to talk about what you've been wearing around the apartment." I was wearing a baggy hoodie and sweatpants. Literally looked like I was going to bed. Sarah nods and says, "It makes everyone really uncomfortable. We haven't seen you in an appropriate outfit since we've been coming here." I was so confused. I asked them what exactly I was wearing that bothered them. Emma goes, "Well, yesterday you had on that tank top and those shorts. The shorts went to my mid-thigh and the tank top was loose and had thick straps. I was wearing a bra underneath. Nothing was hanging out or see-through." I told them I'd try to be more mindful, thinking maybe they had a point. So for the next 2 weeks, I only wore sweatpants and hoodies when I left my room. Never shorts, never tank tops, always completely covered. But apparently that wasn't enough either. They cornered me again in the kitchen while I was making lunch. This time Sarah was more aggressive. She goes, "I thought we talked about your outfits. How would your boyfriend feel about you dressing like this in front of other men?" I'm standing there in gray sweatpants and an oversized t-shirt that probably belonged to one of my brothers. I asked what was wrong with what I had on. Emma rolls her eyes and says, "You're not being a girl's girl. It's obvious you're trying to get attention from our boyfriends." Then Sarah adds, "We know what you're doing. You're just waiting for the right moment to make your move." That's when I completely lost it. I told them I'd done everything they asked and more, but this was my apartment and I wasn't going to let them control how I dressed in my own home. I reminded them they weren't on the lease and were already here way more than our rental agreement allowed. Emma got all huffy and said, "Well, Jake and Ryan won't be renewing the lease with you anyway." Sarah nodded and added, "Good luck finding new roommates who'll put up with this." I went straight to Jake and Ryan after they left and told them everything. Both guys looked at me like I was crazy when I repeated what their girlfriends said about not renewing the lease. Jake was like, "Dude, we already started the paperwork. Why would Emma think we weren't renewing?" Ryan was equally confused and said Sarah had never mentioned any problems with me. The best part was when I described what I'd been wearing during both confrontations. Ryan started laughing and said, "You dress like you're about to go camping. What's inappropriate about that?" Jake added, "I've literally seen you wear the same hoodie 3 days in a row." When the guys talked to their girlfriends about it, Emma and Sarah tried to backtrack and claim they were just looking out for everyone, but the damage was done. Neither of them has been over since that conversation 5 days ago, which is the longest they've been away from our apartment in months. Jake told me yesterday that Emma said I scared her when I stood up for myself. I guess demanding basic respect in my own home was too intimidating for them.